Hey guys and gals, happy Sunday. Today I want to talk about honor killing, honor violence. I'm from the older generation, I guess. I was a 60s baby. And I see that a lot of my viewers are older too, so you'll remember this. But for you younger viewers, this is a true story. There was a movie made in the early 80s, or the mid 80s or in late 80s, but the true story happened in I think late 70s to early 80s. It's called Not Without My Daughter. That was my introduction to the world of honor violence. When Iran had the Shah, a lot of the people hated him because of the way he treated some of them, and he wanted to keep the country more secular. But the more religious of them wanted to be able to wear their burqas and everything, which is fine. The Shah was overthrown by Ayatollah Khomeini. Women were no longer allowed to show any skin. I mean, they used to be able to go to the beach in bikinis. They can't do that anymore. There's a lot they can't do even now, and the younger generation is fighting against it. Anyway, what happened was Betty Mahmoudi is her name. She's an American, she married an Iranian guy. And he was really nice, and he treated her great. They had a great marriage. They had a beautiful little girl. He went to college in America, and, he lived in America for 20 years or something. One day, and he was a doctor, and sometimes he would, in the break room, the lounge, he'd hear other American doctors making fun of him. He'd be reading a newspaper, and they didn't, recognize the writing. It could have been Arabic or whatever. There's a lot of other languages that the actual writing is much different. So they're kind of whispering, laughing about him, but he overheard it. Comes home from work, and their little girl's about to start kindergarten, I guess in about a month or something, in a couple weeks. What happens is the husband is on the phone with his family from Iran, who was still living there. And he said, Betty, my family wants us to go and visit. They haven't seen our little girl yet, yada, yada, yada. Now, this was not long after Americans that were in the embassy there were taken hostage, and then over a year later, they were finally set free. Because of that, of course, and there were wars going on, Betty did not want to go there. She said, "Well, have them come here." He said, no, they want to see you over there. They want to meet the baby, little girl and everything. So they end up going, and his personality changed overnight. As soon as he was with his people again, and he became a real brute, she found out she's stuck there forever. And the little girl, if they divorce, the little girl has to be left with the father. It's very upsetting. Since the American embassy is no longer there, there was a Swedish embassy with an American section. And she spoke to the woman, and she said, whether you know it or not, when you married a Muslim man, you became a man from a certain country like Iran. You become an Iranian citizen whether you like it or not. Now, Betty did not know this. The movie takes you through the things that happen on the way to her eventually getting back to America, and it took a couple of years. Then there was a follow-up movie called Without My Daughter, and it's his side of the story. The daughter, Mahtab was her name, the daughter is now grown up and does not want to see her father, and he dies without ever getting to see her again. The movie he made was more of a documentary. He was not allowed in America, and he wanted to just meet the daughter like in a neutral country. Daughter wanted no part of it. She saw her mother being beat. She saw how women were treated over there, and she wanted no part of it. So she was happy to be back in America with her mom. It's a very good movie. I would advise you to try to see it. Now, in real life, that was a true story. Sally Field played Betty Mahmoudi. Alfred Molina played Moody Mahmoudi, the husband. And a beautiful little girl, Sheila Rosenthal, played the daughter, Mahtab. I was looking for a picture of her recently, and I don't know if she ever acted after that. Now, I saw a picture of a gorgeous young lady. I think that might have been her, but I don't know. What a cute little girl. And the real Mahtab was very cute, too. Now she's older, of course. That brings to mind a lot of other stories that happened. There was also a similar movie, and I can't remember the name of it, but Mariel Hemingway played the divorced wife, American divorced wife, of a Jordanian man. And he said he was just they had shared custody. He lived in the United States, and he actually snuck with his new wife, took the daughter with him back to Jordan. And she had to go through a whole big deal to get her daughter back. Now, this man was not as brutal as Mahmoudi's husband was, but it's still a very, very interesting story. What I see, though, I follow a lot of the true crime channels on YouTube, and they are addicting. And I can't remember which one, but one of the channels was telling the story of a young lady in England. The family had moved to England. And when a girl grows up there or is even born there, but her parents are from the old country, a lot of times the parents are going to want to follow the traditions of their old country. And this daughter was modernized. She did not want to be in an arranged marriage and everything. And she had to eventually go into hiding. They actually show her sister, her older sister, in a full burqa, covered up and everything. Just the eyes showing because she was so scared of being found out. So the younger sister actually ended up getting killed by some of her relatives because she refused to convert to their ways, I would say. It's a very sad story. That's on YouTube free. You'll see that. Now there's also another story. I mean, there are hundreds, if not thousands of them. There is also a story of two sisters who I believe were born in America. Their mother was American and the father was Egyptian, I believe. And they wanted American boyfriends. They wanted to, be able to live the way they wanted to live, and he kills them. He was on the run for years, and he just recently, I believe within the last few years, finally got caught and arrested. Now in America, and in any Western country, England or whatever, when they find the person, they're going to face justice. I hear in India now they're cracking down on it. Some of the Middle Eastern countries are now cracking down on it. But sometimes if you're in the country where it happens, it's not even a religious thing, it's a cultural thing. Okay, because it also happens, not only happens in the Muslim religion, it also happens, there's been a couple of stories of Christians happening too. Now, these are older, back a few generations, but it's sickening. It also happened in the Sikh religion, which a lot of Indians are Sikh. Also Hindu religions it's happened in. So it's more cultural than it is religious, okay? It is very sad. I hate to even bring this up because this is more brutal, and a few of them were stoned. I mean, physically stoned, and I'm not going to show any graphics. It's disgusting. It's probably against the rules on YouTube, I'm sure. But when things happen in their actual country, there's a lady named Soroya M. It's a long last name, so they just called it Soroyam. And the story is told through her aunt. I don't even want to give the whole title of the movie, but if you look up Soroya M. on YouTube, you'll probably find at least a link to the real story. A lot of these countries now are finally cracking down on it. Actually, a girl escaped Saudi Arabia, which you probably know. Young girl, I think 17 or 18, she's adorable. She begged through her internet and got some people to help her, and she was trying to get into Australia, but Canada accepted her. I'm sure she's a lot happier. They must have her in hiding. They're not going to give away where she is now, which is a smart thing. From what I hear, she's doing better. There's also a girl from the UAE, United Arab Emirates, whose father, I believe, is a prince or king, and she tried to escape a few years ago on a ship, and she was caught, I believe, off the coast of India. You get so many stories, and it is so scary. Okay, this is not really an honor killing, but this is, I'm going to tell a different story about a reporter. I'm sure you've heard about him. There's been a movie about him. I will tell that on a different day, because that's a gentleman from Saudi Arabia who denounced his country and was killed at the Saudi embassy in Turkey. You might know what I'm talking about without me even mentioning it. It's just very sad what's going on. Now, America is not without its shameful history. I don't think there's any country that is without their shameful history. But these things are still going on today with the honor killings. No one has a right to force a woman to marry somebody she doesn't love. There are a lot of human rights groups now standing up for these women. There's an organization called Amnesty International that attempts to help them when they can. The problem is the country that the person is from, if they're trapped back in their country, they will say this is a private family matter. In fact, 4 daughters of not the king of Saudi now, but the one before that had passed away, were not in hiding, but they were kept under lock and key, and I don't even know if they're alive anymore. I mean, it's such a sad story. There's very little information on them. Their mom had escaped, I believe, to the UK, I believe, and she was even afraid to speak, but she wanted desperately to get her daughters back, and it's just so sad what's going on. Then, of course, there's Russia and Ukraine, and that is making me totally sick. Anybody with a heart, I'm sure it's making them sick. You know, up until recently, I thought that the people of Russia, and I still think that there are many peaceful people in Russia who do not agree with what's going on. But apparently some of the military is listening to what's-his-face. I'm not even going to say his name because it makes me sick. But I hate to bring up bad news, but like I said, it's to make us appreciate what we have and try to spread some of our love to others. If you do donate to a cause, please make sure it's a legitimate one. Even after 9/11, I saw a lot of shady GoFundMes that weren't the real thing. And this is even before Facebook was a thing. This is back in 2001. But anytime there's a big disaster, a human rights disaster, whatever, there are always going to be some fraudulent organizations trying to collect. So anytime you want to give to a cause, please do your homework and make sure that it's really the legitimate cause. We need to pray for everybody in this world who is not free, who don't live in a free country, who don't have human rights. Those of us who maybe don't like the presidents who are running or the president that was elected, at least we can say so-and-so is a jerk. You're not allowed to say that in other countries under fear of death. Okay, I don't agree with everything a president or a candidate does, but I'm impartial. I purposely am independent, okay, because both candidates had good and bad about them. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. I'm not going to go dissing this one or that one. Okay, they're human beings, and, you know, there's going to be good and bad in everybody. I think even I have some bad points, which I'm sure everyone that knows me knows this. I just want to say, I guess on Sundays or certain days I don't go to church, but I am spiritual, if that makes sense. I must pray about 5 times a day. I'm Christian or Catholic. I was brought up Catholic. I do follow the no meat on Friday during Lent rule. I didn't go for Ash Wednesday to get my ashes, but I pray a lot. And even if you're not religious, like I've said about 2 or 3 times in past videos, please, let's pray for those who are less fortunate than us. We might be annoyed at our every day-to-day things, you know, little stupid stuff that in the grand scheme of things don't really matter. And it happens to me too. Sometimes I get a whack upside the head and say, Diane, what's the matter with you? Don't be a spoiled brat. You know, at least you have this, this, and this. And it's true. If you have a roof over your head, food in your belly, just because your internet isn't working right, your hair doesn't come out right. I'm due for a haircut, I think. Your hair doesn't come out right, or, you know, if you ate something you should not have. Stupid stuff, okay? So-and-so is being snotty and stuck up. I'm very vulnerable like that. I was bullied younger, and I'm still bullied a little bit, on and off. As long as it doesn't go into real life, if that's our biggest problem, let's thank God that that's our biggest problem. Let's try to work with it. Please, let's all pray for the people of Ukraine, and that maybe one day the Russians that are on what's-his-face's side eventually go against him. If there's a way to do that without making themselves victims. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's so upsetting to see what's going on, but we can't close our eyes to it. Just closing our eyes is not going to make it go away. If we find legitimate organizations, and I'm going to start looking myself, I've given a few donations here and there, and I've made sure they were the real ones, but I can't even remember what they are because I'm old and I'm forgetful sometimes. I'm being honest. And not that being old makes you forgetful, but I've got some problems there. But I thank God that that's my only problem. Well, now I have other problems, but still, my problems are nothing compared to what those people have. Right? So please, let's make sure we're watching a legitimate news source. One thing I can't stand is watching a news that's biased on the side of one political party or the other. Can we please see a neutral news source that we can get the information straight? That's what I wish for. Please, let's all stick together. Let's just try to spread love. It started with our country, and we've got a way to go here. I know some of the other Western countries have a way to go. All of us do. But we need to still appreciate what we have and hope for the best for others. I hope to speak to you soon. In a couple days, I'll be back with another anti-scam video. Just want you guys to know I love you. Please love one another. And I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.